We all know that putting is a game within a game, but do you want to hold more putts, effectively lower your scores, and of course, get good at golf? Guys, if you want to do just that, make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button below and throw a like on this video if you want to hold more putts, just like I'm doing with my new lab putter. So as you can see, guys, we've got about a 15-20 foot putt here, and the first thing that you have to think about is how many of these putts would you expect to make? Because one of the big misconceptions that a lot of people do have when it comes to putting is how many of these putts should I be holing from this distance? Now, when it comes to tour averages from here, Chris, you'd expect to see about 20-25%, you'd think, going in the hole from here?
Yeah, so that'll be it. So from 15 feet, we're probably looking at 1 in 4.
And for me, one of the big issues that a lot of people don't quite get, and in this video we're going to go into a couple of the big secrets that tour pros really don't want you to know when it comes to putting, because they want to still be tour pros and they want you to still be a mid-handicap golfer. But one of the big issues that I see is distance control. So you'll see there the first putt we've hit, it hasn't gone in the hole, but it's gone just past. It's gone 6 inches past. It sounds like Big Al. But what we want to see is a ball that gets just past the hole. From there, not only do you have much more of a chance at making it, but actually when you think about it, you can then start to pick what kind of line you're going to take. Because one of the big misconceptions as well, and we're a couple of minutes into this video, I've already thrown 2 big misconceptions at you about how to use the flat stick to better success, is that a lot of people think there's one line for a putt. Now, if you think there's one line for a putt, let's have a think about how the ball moves towards the hole. Now, if you die the ball towards the hole, you'll notice that you're going to have to give it a little bit more break. It's going to go more in the side door. It's not going to go straight in the middle like that last putt did. If you hit the ball firmer, then you don't have to give it as much break. The ball isn't going to move as much, and it's going to go more in the center. Otherwise, it's going to lip out and miss. Now, there's no right or wrong when it comes to that. A lot of people will think, well, I obviously hit the ball too firm, or I must hit the ball too soft. Now, if you're getting the ball to the hole, there's no right or wrong there. Like I've just said, you want to make sure that you own your own putting where you're comfortable with it. So if I hit this same putt again now, you'll see that I aim just to the left here and rock that putter nicely. So that one, perfect pace, but what went wrong there? The roll was good, the pace was good. I just didn't give it enough read to that left-hand side for the left to right break. But how do I start to determine how hard I'm hitting that golf ball with the putter? Because if I was to hit a driver here, I know that I would load up to the top of my backswing here and I'd have a really cool dynamic kinematic sequence where I can get my hips clearing. I can then use that sequence to allow myself to create loads of club head speed. And the key there is if you have more club head speed with a driver, you're going to hit the drives further. Now, if I want to create more club head speed with this, how do I do that? I don't necessarily need all that load up. I don't need lots of different sections of the game. But what I need is to be able to know how far back I'm moving this putter head. So if I move the putter head back this far, I could get that ball to the hole no problem, as you can see, that way. So I hit that a little bit firmer with a really short stroke. Now I could also take the putter back this far and just get the ball to the hole there distance wise, as you can see. So it's important that we think about not only how far back the putters go in, but also the rhythm and the speed of which we're using. So that's the one area that you can't really get away with something. You want to be able to have, in essence, a nice kind of mid-range stroke for these kind of putts. So from here, 15 feet, I'd be thinking, and I'm using my peripheral vision here to allow myself to think how far back am I taking this putter. When it comes to, so I've been using the lab putter now for a couple of weeks, and what I like about this is it takes out all the elements of, oh, do I need the putter to kind of move backwards inside? Do I need to rotate the face? I don't think about any of that. All I think about is how far back am I taking that putter, and from there I'll let the putter glide through. I'm not trying to essentially pick up a load of acceleration. I'm not trying to feather it down. I'm just allowing the weight of the putter to essentially move myself through and allow me to get the correct distance I want. So that's the first part I'm actually unhappy with in this sequence, because I've left it short, and short never goes in. Okay, so now you know how to determine to get the correct distance with your putts. That's one of the areas that you can massively improve your strokes gained by making sure not only we might hole a few more putts because you get into the hole, unlike that last putt I hit, but also you're going to have far less 3 putts. If we can eradicate 3 putts from our game, your handicap's going to come down. Have a think, guys, how many 3 putts do you usually have in a round? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3, 4 or 5? Is it even 6 or 7 like Alex Etchers had on our trip to Florida? If you want to have less 3 putts, then hopefully Alex Etchers is watching this video because we can help you. So we know now we're going to get the distance correct, but what about squaring that putter face up? Because that could be something that's imperative, even using a lab putter that essentially is going to help you do that a little bit more. How can we do that? So a lot of people, first of all, maybe have the wrong grip with a putter. So you'll notice that a putter grip is the only grip in our bag that isn't round. It actually has some flat edges. So we want to make sure we use that correctly. The last thing I want to see is a putter grip that's in the fingers here, because if that is in the fingers, it allows far too much rotation of the hands, and that could be where essentially you're going wrong with your putting. If I were to have that in the fingers here, you'll see that even a lab putter is going to rotate back and through, and I'm almost trying to rotate that putter head to square it up correctly. That's something which we see quite a lot no matter what putter you're using. So to battle that, what we're going to do, we're going to set up to the golf ball. I'm going to put both hands on the putter straight down through the lifeline of my hands. From there, wrap the fingers around the back so you can see that actually I could put with the pad of my left hand on the grip and the pad of my right hand on my fingers. This is obviously for a right-handed golfer. From there, I just find where it's comfortable with my thumbs. If you want to have your fingers down, you can, but I like to just kind of sit, especially with the lab grip, the left finger down and the right index finger behind it. And there's no right or wrong here. As long as you have that putter grip in the palms of your hands, that can really allow you just to make much better strokes. It can allow you to square that club face up even more, because if you're not rotating that putter face too much, essentially what you can be doing nicely there, how's that one not gone in, is being a lot more consistent with your start line. So if your start line's correct, if your distance control's correct, you're generally going to be onto a winner, because you're going to be, even if you're missing them, you're going to be hitting pretty good putts. You can then start to learn from where you do miss putts, and that's how you become a much better golfer in time. Now, we've covered distance control, we've covered start line a little bit, but how can I really make sure that start line allows me to hopefully start holing these putts instead of just missing them? So you'll notice that whatever golf ball you use will have some kind of line on it. If it doesn't, I recommend you go and buy a Sharpie marker or go and buy different golf balls which do have a good alignment aid on them. And what I'm going to do here is, this might sound like it's not rocket science, and it's not, but we're also not reinventing the wheel here. I'm going to line the golf ball up to where I see my apex of the putt. So we spoke earlier about how hard we're gonna hit it, what I see that putt doing. So different people might well see different breaks in putts. But how I'm gonna make sure that I do that is I'm gonna hover the shaft over the line there, and that's gonna allow me to have a visual of extending that line all the way down that putt. So I'm gonna start this 2 cups outside the left. Now, I wish I'd have done this right at the start of this video, because I think I would have holed more putts for you in this lesson, but I wanted to cover this just at the end because I think this is something which is imperative to you guys holing more putts and also 3-putting a lot less. So I'm using my dominant eye, not my non-dominant eye, I'm using my dominant eye for that. So I'm going to close my left eye and I'm just going to look down the right-hand side of the shaft over that line. If you don't know what your dominant eye is, small gap in your hands, place a golf ball right in the middle of that, close your left eye. If the golf ball's still there, then your dominant eye is the right eye, close your right eye, and if the golf ball moves, then your non-dominant eye is your left eye. It's the same thing, isn't it? But essentially, then you're in the perfect position. You've got your grip right, you've aimed this putter perfectly, the golf ball's lined up, and you're going to give it the perfect distance to start holing a lot more putts. Guys, if you think that could help you with your putting, please make sure you do consider hitting that subscribe button below. This is something which can dramatically lower your scores, so make sure you invite a friend if you want. And apart from that, we'll see you all at exactly the same time tomorrow.